Yo, what's up everybody? Jumping here. Today, this is going to be my very first Anthem video. I've been a big fan of BioWare forever. I've done almost every single BioWare game on my YouTube channel, so of course I was going to play Anthem. And I'm sure a lot of you guys want to know how I feel about the game. I'm going to save that until I actually get to the gameplay, but for now, well, let's go ahead and talk about this amazing shotgun that I got. I actually got it pretty early on. I think I was like level 23 when I first got it. And I fell in love with it. It is by far my favorite weapon that I've gotten in the entire game, and that weapon is the Papa Pump. This thing is ridiculous. Now, one of the cool things about this weapon is that you can actually grind the very first stronghold on like hard, and if you do that, you have a pretty good chance of getting this, because I believe if you're playing on normal or hard, there's only going to be so many Masterworks you can get, and this is one of them. So if you're trying to get this, you can just grind that until you get it. And this is an amazing weapon because it does crazy damage. And it's a lot of fun to play with too, especially if you want to change your playstyle up and rush in with the shotgun. It is pretty awesome. Now, there is a legendary version of this. I have a friend who actually got the legendary version. And it's kind of disappointing because I guess the legendaries are pretty much the same as the Masterworks. It's just that they're better because they're legendary. So that's a little bit disappointing, I'll be honest. I thought the legendaries were going to be more like exotics from Destiny, where they'll be completely unique, but I guess that is not the case. But anyway, let's go ahead and talk about this perk, because what this does is that whenever you reload the gun, it's going to give you a damage bonus of 100% for 15 seconds, and that stacks twice, so 200% more damage for reloading the gun. Now, the way that you want to play with this is you want to go ahead and actually shoot 3 times, because whenever you reload, you're going to reload 2 shells at once. So you want to shoot 3 times, and then whenever you get to battle, go ahead and reload your gun, get the perk going, and then go to town and just destroy everything. And then once the battle's over, do not reload the gun. That's normally what I do. I just don't bother reloading. And then when I get to the next battle, I reload the gun and I go to town. So it is an amazing perk. Now, at first, I thought it meant that I was going to have to reload it twice, like shoot it, reload it, shoot it, reload it. No, as long as you actually just reload twice, in terms of like, you know, you shoot 3 times, you reload 2 shells at once, reload the other one, you got the ×2 bonus. So that is awesome. But this thing absolutely murks. It is an amazing weapon, and it's been by far my favorite weapon in the entire game. So I definitely wanted to show this off. Now, besides just making a video about this weapon and why I like it so much, I also wanted to show you guys my setup I'm using for this Ranger with this shotgun. So this is pretty much my shotgun Ranger build. It's not complete. I recently got to the end game. I just started grinding, so I don't have everything yet. But I do have some cool stuff, and I wanted to also show that off if you guys are interested. So the first thing I want to talk about is your other weapon. Now, it's up to you on what you want to use, but I definitely would recommend something that has range to it. Either a sniper or a scout or a pistol, whatever. Something that will give you some range, because if you're fighting certain enemies, like the Titan, for example, you do not want to get close with the shotgun. You will get absolutely destroyed, so you definitely want to stay further back with a sniper, and that will be a lot safer than getting in close. You can always try to get in close, but you'll probably die, so I just don't recommend it. Now, the weapon I'm using is the Devastator. I'm not using this because I want to. In fact, if I had a Masterwork sniper, any Masterwork sniper, I would probably use that over this. The main reason why I'm using this one, though, is because it has luck. And I definitely do say that if you're grinding, you want to put as much luck on your build as possible. I actually have a lot of different things for luck. And if I'm going to go and grind something, a lot of times I will switch my setup for luck, just because I want to get more drops if possible, and I want to get more Masterworks. So that's the main reason why I'm using it, is because of the luck. But like I said, if I can get any other sniper that is Masterwork, I would probably use that over this. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is the grenade for the Ranger. Now, for the shotgun, I absolutely recommend using a frost grenade. Now, this is the Masterwork frost grenade, but I would say that if you have any frost grenade, that's pretty much good. In fact, most of the time, I actually use this level 29 frost grenade just because it does the same thing with freeze the enemy, but it also gives me luck. So most of the time I use that. But this frost grenade, this Masterwork one, is pretty cool. I do like the effect, although it is a little disappointing. I wish the effect would have been more like if you use the frost grenade and freeze enemies, they take more damage in general. That would have been cool. But instead, it actually buffs your melee damage for 10 seconds, but it's a big buff. Now, from what I can tell you though, this would be amazing on normal or hard, but on Grandmaster, the Ranger melee just has a lot of trouble killing enemies. Now, if you weaken them and get them really low and then melee them, you will kill them. But even if you stack all these melee buffs, you just really cannot kill enemies with your melee easily. But you will do okay damage with it. But yeah, I definitely would say that you want to use a frost grenade, primarily just because whenever you're fighting something that is powerful, you want to freeze it. If it has a shield, this shotgun, the Pop-A-Pump, will take down that shield in no time. And then you can just throw the grenade at them, freeze them, and then finish them off. And it's very effective. So I definitely like the frost grenade overall for the shotgun build. Now for the launcher, I'm actually using a pulse blast. Now the reason I'm using this one is because it has luck on it. So there you go. Once again, you'll see a theme here. I do like to use a lot of luck for farming because I just got to the end game. But this one is pretty cool because once again, if you actually hit an enemy with this, and you can always detonate a combo with the frost grenade, you will actually get 110% melee damage for 20 seconds. So you can combine your two powers together, and that gives you a 245% more melee damage, which is insane. But at the same time, even with that, like I said, on Grandmaster 1, I have a lot of trouble killing enemies with my melee. But I do like this one because of the luck, but also it's really, really strong. It is a very powerful blast you can get off of this, and that is cool. And you can detonate combos with it and stuff, so I do like it. And it has a really quick recharge speed on it as well, which is also cool. Now let's go ahead and talk about the support gear. I do not have any Masterwork support gear. I want to get them. I'm interested to see what they will do. But the one I would recommend for the shotgun build is pretty much the one that has health on it to block out some damage. So this one I have gives me shields. It gives me shotgun ammo. It gives me machine gun or machine pistol ammo, which I'm not using, but still shotgun ammo, shields. That's really nice. And like I said, I normally use it to save my life. Or if I'm going to res somebody, I'll put the shield over them and then res them. So it is pretty useful. Now, this is where things get pretty interesting because we're going to talk about the components. I do have two Masterwork components. And the first one is kind of confusing. I'll be honest. I do not know how this works. But it says performing a large hit streak, 10. I'm assuming that means 10 hits. Will instantly add 1 ultimate charge. Now I've tried to see what this means. I can't really figure it out. I'm thinking what it means is something to do with my ultimate itself. So if I actually go into my ultimate and hit 10 enemies, that will restore some of my ultimate back, but it seems to not do that. And I've been using this a lot. Then I was thinking, well, maybe it means like get 10 hits in a row, but that seems like really cheap if you're using something like a machine gun. So I'm not exactly sure on what this actually means, but there you go. It is a Masterwork component for the Ranger. Now this other one here is once again pretty cool. It will increase the assault launcher recharge by 35%, which is always nice. But here we go again with more melee. Defeating an enemy with a melee will increase the grenade damage by 50% for 10 seconds. Now that is really awesome, especially for all the grenades besides the frost grenade. So I don't know why they decided to go ahead and put the bonus melee damage on the frost grenade, because this really won't work well with that. And if you're going to be trying to kill enemies on Grandmaster 1, 2, or 3 with your melee, well, you're going to want to have as much melee damage as possible. So to me, I don't know how to really feel about this one yet. I recently just got it. I haven't really played around with it too much yet, but I would say that, yeah, I don't know. I just feel like it has potential to be great, but for my current setup with the frost grenade, I don't really see I'm going to get any benefit. I don't think that grenade does any damage at all. Now, outside of that, you're going to notice a lot of grenade cooldown because once again, I really like the frost grenade. It's really good for just keeping me alive and freezing enemies, because when you're playing with a shotgun at close range, the enemies on the harder difficulties will put you down so fast. So you need that crowd control. So I normally will go for things that will help me lower my cooldown for my grenade. So you're going to see that with this as well. This is for the marksman rifle, but I'm not using that. But this does give me 45% more shields, and also it gives me 28% speed for my grenade. So that's the main reason I'm using it. I'm using this to increase my damage with all my guns. And finally, I am using this to increase my impact damage. Now, I did want to talk about this because impact damage is actually your bullet damage. It's also some of your powers too, but your bullets will actually be impact damage. Your grenade launchers and anything like, I don't know, the Devastator with an explosion will be blast damage. So this will apply to my shotgun. I've tested it, it 100% works, and it does give you a nice buff for your guns. So this is a really cool Ranger mod, and I highly recommend it. There's another one that will actually lower your impact damage. I don't really recommend that one because that one will give you like a 50% blast damage buff. And unless you're using things with blast damage, I don't really recommend it. If you're using things that fire bullet, that will actually give you a nerf. You could combine the two together, and I believe you will get like a 15 or 20% buff for both. But I just personally prefer the impact damage. Alrighty guys, well that's pretty much everything for my current setup. Like I said, a lot of times I'll switch to the grenade just because of things like luck. Same with some of the components. In fact, a lot of times I take this component off just because I don't know what it does. I can't figure it out. And instead, I actually have a component with luck on it. I'm not going to show you guys, but it has luck on it. I'll put that on. And yeah, in the end, I end up having a lot of luck, like over 100% luck for farming. And that definitely does help. Now, let me go ahead and show you some cool stuff. And I just want to show you this because, I mean, I think that this has a lot of potential to be amazing. But check out this one. So this is the same deal. It is the Pulse Blast. But this one, the stats that came on this is pretty nutty. First of all, it has shotgun ammo, which is nice. But it has 100% damage for gear. So I'm assuming that means that this will just give me 100% more damage for my powers, which is insane. Now I want to show you this frag grenade because this frag grenade is insane. Oh my god. This thing, what it does is that when you hit enemies with it, it will add 700% of your ultimate charge. So, from what I can tell, every enemy you hit with the frag grenade will give you about 15% of your ultimate bar back. So I was thinking, man, if you combine that 100% gear bonus with this, that's going to really up your damage for the grenade. Plus, if you remember, you could actually use this too to potentially give you more grenade damage. But once again, the problem is that the frost grenade will be giving you melee damage bonus to allow you to actually be able to do good damage to enemies and actually potentially kill them. So yeah, but this is cool. The problem I have with this setup is that although I think that this might be a better setup just because of the fact that the grenade's going to do a lot of damage, it's also going to give me a lot of ultimate. The problem I have with it is I die a lot with this setup just because I cannot actually freeze enemies. If you're rushing in with a shotgun, that's not good. Now, if you're using other weapons, this would probably be a pretty good setup just because you can detonate a lot of combos. You can melee stuff to set up combos. This would be a really nice setup, but I just personally don't know about the shotgun just because I'll die a lot. Like, I can tell you right now, without the frost grenade, if I come across something really strong, I feel like so naked almost just because I can do a lot of damage to it, but then it starts to shoot me and it will just take me down in like seconds. Where if I had another weapon at range or something like that, I would feel a lot better about it. Anyway, I did want to show those off as well just because those are pretty cool. I really like that grenade. I mean, that grenade is crazy, that frag grenade. But now, I actually want to show you guys some gameplay. I'm going to tell you how I feel about the game, my personal opinions and all that. Now, one thing about the gameplay I do want to say is that the gameplay is actually from when I was lower level. I was using my first pop-up pump I ever got, which I got at like level 23. but it pretty much will demonstrate how I normally play the build, and I've been playing it pretty much the same way ever since then. And I've been playing on Grandmaster now, and I play it exactly the same, and it is freaking awesome. So let's go ahead and get into the gameplay. Alrighty guys, well this is going to be the gameplay, and remember this is kind of older gameplay. This is from when I was beating the story, but this moment in the story was just so epic with the shotgun that I was like, man, I'm gonna have to use this for the footage. So that's why I'm not using like more recent video of my current build. But I mean, I pretty much play it the same way. The only difference is with my current build, I am using my pulse blast a lot more. But yeah, anyway, you're gonna see this shotgun absolutely shred, and it still pretty much does the same thing on Grandmaster 1. It might take a little bit extra shots to sometimes put enemies down, but the difference with my current setup is my current setup will pretty much crit for 17 to 1800 a headshot, and that's times however many you hit them, like 5 or 6, I don't know. It's a lot of damage, and it just absolutely destroys enemies. Now remember, with this shotgun, the main thing you want to do is just constantly reload it. That's it. I mean, it's pretty simple. But like I said, a pro tip is to always make sure that you have like 7 in your magazine, and then whenever you see enemies, just reload, and you'll have the ×2 buff right away after the fight. Don't reload it, or at least reload it to about 7 and then stop, and then next time you see enemies, reload your gun and rush into battle, and there you go, and you will absolutely destroy everything. Well, that's enough about that. Now let's actually talk about how I feel about this game, because I know a lot of people have been asking me, how's Anthem, how you liking it? Well, I like it a lot, I'll be honest. I really have been having a lot of fun with it. I want to say that it's pretty much the same feeling probably that I had with Destiny. When Destiny first came out, Destiny had a lot of problems. It had a lot of problems, but I still had a lot of fun with it. I think the main reason though was because I was playing it with my friends and we were having a good time. Now, the problem with Destiny was that the story was really bad. The end game, it was limited, but I would say that there's probably more in-game activity at Destiny's launch than there is currently in Anthem. And that's a big problem, because once you get to the end game, there's a lot that you can go and grind for. There's a lot of grind. But the problem is that there's not a lot of content to really keep you interested. So I think that that's a big problem with the game. And I know that a lot of the reviews came out, and the game has scored pretty much a 6 out of 10. That seems to be pretty consistent. And that's the same as Destiny when that came out. That got a 6 out of 10. Like, that was pretty consistent, because the game had a lot of problems. Now, Destiny got a lot better as time went on, especially Destiny 1. Now, I would say that Destiny 2 kind of suffered from the same deal, where Destiny 2's story was, like, really good. I mean, that's one thing I want to say. I think the story was great in this game. I thought that the whole deal was really, really good. The problem is, once you get to the end game, you're kind of limited on what you can do. And that's definitely an issue for a grindy game. But I will say that, like, Destiny 2 was kind of like that. The story was much, much better in Destiny 2. Because in Destiny 1, there was really no story. The story completely was horrible. But at least they had some okay end game. It was limited, but they had some. Where in Destiny 2, the end game was the same kind of deal. It was just pretty limited. It kind of got boring, like, fairly quickly. So hopefully all these things will be fixed through DLCs. And by the way, one of the cool things about this game is that all of the DLC will be free. They have said that. That's really, really awesome if they will, keep that promise and make sure that it stays free. I think that's always a cool and awesome thing to have free DLC. But, I mean, that's really what they need to do. They need to pretty much try to expand on the end game. I think that should be their priority. Now, the game has a lot of problems. I'm going to talk about some of them. But like I said, overall, I really do like the game because it's a lot of fun. And I enjoy grinding. This is something I enjoy to do. Some people get bored with it, but I just love to grind games. And also, I like to play with my friends and have a good co-op experience. So this game does a really good job at all that. But I will say that it does have problems. Now, a lot of the reviews that did come out for this game, they came out before the day one patch. because a lot of people had early access. Now, Mass Effect Andromeda had the same problem. BioWare and EA, they need to stop giving out early access, I'll be honest. And the reason for this is because it kind of like ruins their games. Like Mass Effect Andromeda, all the videos on YouTube about the faces, and it's kind of crazy, like the faces in this game is like so much better. It's mind-blowing. But like I was saying, all of the videos on YouTube about the faces and stuff like that, all the jokes, all the memes, that was all available prior to the game releasing. So people already knew going into the game that they had a lot of problems. And same with this game. Like, people knew that there was a lot of problems because there was all these people who were able to play it through early access and say the loading screens are awful. And in fact, I mean, that would probably be my biggest complaint is the loading screens. They are awful. But I'm sure that they're probably going to try to address that, come out with some type of patch or something to make it so that the loading will be a little bit less. I mean, I don't know. It is definitely a problem, though. So there are a lot of problems, you know. Like, one of the things I know some people complain about is a lot of the guns are the same. The legendary pop-up pump is the same as the Masterwork version, but overall, it is the same gun as the scatter shot. It's just an upgraded scatter shot. It looks the same. It is the same. The only difference is it has perks, and it's a lot better. So that is a problem. I know that a lot of people have issues with that, and I agree. It is disappointing not to have some type of really unique legendary weapons. So all these things, like I said, will be probably addressed and fixed, but I do enjoy the game. And although when Destiny 1 came out, a lot of people were completely shitting on it and just talking like so bad about it and how bad it was and all this. Well, the thing about it is that I was playing Destiny 1 at the time, and I was like, you know, I'm enjoying it. I'm really enjoying the game. Anyway, guys, that's going to pretty much do it for the video. I really hope that you have enjoyed it. I wanted to make it about this shotgun, but I also wanted to give you my opinion on the game. Like I said, I like it. I really do like it a lot. It's a lot of fun to me, but it does have problems. That is for sure. But I would appreciate it if you could actually like the video for me. Be sure to subscribe for future videos, and I really do hope that everyone has a very nice day, and peace out.